shall come in the morning. Joy shall come in the morning soon. Joy shall come in the morning. Joy shall come to you. Out of darkness we have light. Comes a day from the light. Joy shall come in the morning. Joy shall come to you. Peace shall come in the morning. Peace shall come in the morning soon. Peace shall come in the morning. Peace shall come to you. Brothers all in charity, sisters all in unity. Peace shall come in the morning. Peace shall come to you. Hope shall come in the morning. Hope shall come in the morning soon. Hope shall come in the morning. Hope shall come to you. Take this name from the light. Open your heart with wings like fire. Hope shall come in the morning. Hope shall come to you.
Well, I trust we all had just a wonderful Valentine's Day. You know, I think it's so great that we can celebrate our relationships, our romantic kind of relationships that we have. That's such a gift for those of us that can do that. A friend of mine was telling me he was at work on Friday, and he told his buddy at work, he said, "Now don't forget, get your wife some candy and stuff. It's Valentine's Day." He said, "Yeah, Valentine's Day, it's just like Halloween to me." He said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, I got to dress up like somebody I'm not even." He said, "I say nice things I don't particularly mean, and I got to get candy for people I really don't care that much about." Ooh. Oh, well. You know, is that too real? Okay. But when I think about Valentine's Day and Sweetest Day, I think it's wonderful we have these celebrations for these special relationships we have in life. But today, when we get to the talk, I'm going to talk about a different kind of love, and a love that we're so much in need of, but the world just isn't giving. It's not receiving. So for Valentine's Day, if you're fortunate enough to have a sweetie or have the ability to celebrate a relationship that you have had in your life, and think of it with love and joy, why, good for you. And but today, don't forget to think about the other kind of love that this world craves and needs so bad and is not receiving in the magnitude that it should. And so it is.
I hope I don't preempt some of what you're going to say.
I was just going to tell you, follow that, dude.
Follow that. So, Valentine's Day, yes. The day of not just romantic love, but for others, it's also just, as Patrick was saying, for other people who are important in our life. I got a card from an old friend of mine who wished a happy Valentine's Day to me and Natalie and to Ananda, who refuses to have a girlfriend ever, or boyfriend. He just says it's just too much work. He's very observant. And I think we're fairly, well, okay.
We don't have anything to do with that.
We don't have anything to do with that. Yeah, he observes. But as Patrick mentioned, when Natalie and I were talking about just some of the really challenging news that's happening nationally, globally, and you think of how historically we have treated one another so badly in many ways, as well as wonderfully, but all our civilizations and colonizations seem to really bring out really hard things with that are hard things to take. And when I'm challenged by this, when I see that and think, my God, this is just too painful to watch, it challenges me to consider that the universe, what we've heard so many times, that God is love, that the universe is based in love, that love is the foundation of the universe, and that little part of me that is tied up in all the really scary, frightening things says, where is all this love? What's happening? And those are the times when I really need to step back and say, okay, this is a small glimpse of time on a small but delightful planet. And as painful as my ego feels around what's going on, I know that there is something much larger that created us. The processes that created us, that brought us here today, are billions of years old. And as I pray, usually each night, part of my prayer is, remind me to have deep, deep humility, because I don't know everything. I don't have all the answers. I don't know where it all came from. And perhaps, great Mother, great Father, great Infinite of the universe, perhaps you know what you're doing. There's some way I can set my ego aside more often and really feel into that. Not just think about it, but feel into it. This is my challenge, is to really feel beyond the frightening news, the scary news, the sad news, and to look beyond that and say, what is deeply, deeply beneath all this that's holding us and knows what to do. Thank you.
David, thank you very much. You just hit the nail on the head. You did, without hurting it. Oh, good morning, everyone. Glad to see you all this morning. It's kind of one of those not real comfortable mornings outside. Makes you really appreciate the sunshine and the spring weather. Mr. Meyer, do you have any announcements for the folks? Okay.
I might come up there.
You might do whatever you'd like to do.
Thank you, David, for those words. I just have a few announcements. I have some announcements to make. Just a reminder, the Women's Book Club discussion group at Circle 10 is February 19th. Next Sunday, we have a guest speaker. Erin Kruger from COTS will be speaking, and she will be, and again, that's our potluck Sunday next week, so we'll have some time to spend with her, and I'm sure you'll have a lot of questions you want to ask her, and gives you the opportunity to do that. We are always in need of Sunday service flowers, so wherever that sign-up sheet is, I couldn't find it right now if I had to, but I know that there is one out there somewhere, and for those of you that do provide for flowers, please make note of that. Valentine's Day, the importance of love, relationships is significant. I've had the opportunity to find some really significant relationships since I have been coming to Church of the Oaks a couple of years ago. One of those relationships started at the Kids' Day pancake breakfast. Flipping pancakes with Ron Phillips, who started a relationship that has really grown in the last 2 years. And I know that many of us have been praying for Ron and for his health issues, and they have been severe at times and scary at times. But I got a phone call or a text from Ron on Tuesday, and he asked that I would share the details of that. But more importantly, he wanted me to express to you, because he just didn't think he could get through it and say it the way he wanted to say it, but the deep appreciation that he has had for all of you, for your prayers, for your support. And I know that each and every Sunday we have take moments of prayer that we focus spirit energy to those that we pray for. And most of the time we don't get an update on what is going on. Oftentimes when we get an update, it's bad news. But I can share with you, and with Ron's permission, that on Tuesday, he got a phone call from his oncologist to tell him that he is cancer-free. And this is a huge, huge thing. And again, he just wanted me to convey that to all of you. And, you know, those moments of prayer have significant impact. And I'll leave it at that. So.
Thank you, Dick. And along those lines, our Catherine is still in hospice as far as I know. I haven't heard any news, any updates. And today, our bell ringer, Gloria, is in the hospital. She has negative reaction to medication she's been given. They tried some new medication that didn't work well. So she's going to be in for another day or two. I don't think it's life-threatening, but I think it's pretty awful at this point. But like Ron just expressed to us through Dick, these prayers, these energies we send out, they work. There were times when I was in the hospital in San Francisco in June, and after I got back, and I'd watched the church service on the computer on YouTube, and prayers went out for me. Like at 11:15, 11:20, I would feel energy come into my body. And in that space, there is supposedly no time and no space and no speed, but it's surprising. When this congregation sent me love and light, I got it. And Bill's sitting back there. He can attest to the very same thing. He shared with me. He's felt the same thing. So I think it's so important that every week, as often as we can, it doesn't have to be an elaborate prayer or big production. Just quiet down all the chaos going on in your brain and your heart. And just focus on sending your light, your energy, out to those that need it. And if you got a special name or a special place or a group of people, like in war-torn countries or disaster-filled countries, send it. They do get it. So let's speak some names of people that are going through a dark time or a challenge right now. Gloria. Patrick. Okay, let's send this light, this precious gift from the divine within, and let's share it wherever it needs to be shared. And as we share this infinite gift of love and life, may we know that Spirit will take it wherever it needs to go in the perfect way and the perfect time. And so it is. We're going to sing a song, but before we do that, I'd like to remind us of something. I think there's a flyer on the table. If there isn't, I'll put one there next week. On March 6th, down at the Church of the Incarnation, there's going to be a concert from 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. That you can go to Journey Center Santa Rosa, all one word, .org, and get tickets. They're $15, $25, or $35. And the group is called The Many. It's a very eclectic group. All lifestyles, races. It's just an amazing group of people who sing about the love and the energy that holds us all together. And most of them are from the Southeast, like Alabama and Georgia and Virginia. And they're going to be appearing 5 different places here in the Bay Area. But we're going to be lucky enough to hear them on March 6th at 6:30 p.m. at Church of the Incarnation. And you can go to Journey Center, Santa Rosa.org and get tickets. All right. I think that most of us spend some time every day telling ourselves we're just not very bright or not very good looking or not very able to handle the stresses of life. We're always called to, we are our worst critics, are of our own selves. So when you sing this, how could anyone ever tell you? Sing it at yourself. Let's stand up and sing. How could anyone ever tell you? Now we have the pleasure and the wonderful experience to greet each other in the traditional Church of the Oaks fashion. Hello, sir. Because it's just growing together with everything. What? Well, didn't that feel delightful?
It does, it does.
Yeah. Has anybody ever heard me say, what is it, trust in spirit? I say that a lot. And I'm going to tell you a story. In January, late December and January, we had a fire inspection. And they decided we need those new emergency lights, and we needed the trees cut down out back. And for that valuable information, they charged us $350 for our annual inspection fee. And accomplishing that cost us about $500. Then a property tax was due. That was another $500. And then some other stuff was broken and we had to fix it. And so we built up an unbudgeted set of expenses there for about $1,500. Just like, wow. But we trust. We didn't freak out. We didn't, at our board meeting, we didn't hardly mention it except there's our bottom line. And yesterday, we actually deposited it last Monday because they paid us last week. We picked up an extra $2,000 for a wedding. Spirit just kind of knows when the stuff happens and somehow the money rolls in. But Spirit also depends on each one of us to make sure PG&E gets paid every month. And the dumpster gets emptied and the floors get swept. And so we have to share too. But we can trust in the universe. When we have need, if we ask the universe and put it out there, we have these health conditions, and if we have money issues, and we have relationship issues, just stop trying to run everything, stop trying to control everything, and just take a deep breath and just know if you're doing your best, it's all going to work out. Maybe not the way you would like to see it or the way you had it pictured. It may have come in a different package. But trust the universe. Trust the divine. The divine creates us. The divine is within us. There's nobody that wants to throw, there is no force or energy that wants us to thrive more than the divine if we just get out of our own way. We have abundance more than we can imagine. And so much of it we block because we're trying to run the show and drive the bus. And we know exactly what it ought to feel like and look like and be like. Perhaps not. Let's read together our affirmation of abundance, may we? To realize an abundant life, one must practice giving, receiving, and gratitude. May we ponder that wisdom, Eden. Very nice, thank you. As we prepare ourselves for our practice this morning, let's sing together, Be Still and Know That I Am God, number 69 in the Wings of Song.
Good morning. In keeping with the theme this morning, today's practice is a visualization. One that helping us to let go of all that we are not. And here's a hint, you're carrying around a lot of what you're not, whether you realize it or not. So for this visualization, the main theme is that we're going to walk together to a healing waterfall. And each of you will have the opportunity to step under that waterfall. And as you do, to release all those things that have been weighing you down, especially the ones you weren't aware of. So to begin with, please close your eyes and take a moment to place your hand over your heart. Just resting in that space for a few breaths. Imagining now as you breathe that this whole beautiful church is filling with golden light. Every corner, every crevice, every crack is filling with golden light, helping as it does to push out any energies that we're ready to release here. And you're now going to imagine that you're standing at the entrance to a beautiful path in nature. And you're going to start walking down this path. Just noticing the beautiful plants, animals. Maybe you're in a tropical place like Hawaii or Brazil. Maybe you're in your favorite park right near here. But you're just going to walk through this path knowing that you are on your way to the healing waterfall. As you continue to walk, you may begin to notice the sound of the waterfall in the distance. Just ever so faintly at first, a sound like a quiet, gentle roar. And then the path begins to go up a little, and as it does, as you get towards the top of this little hill, the sound gets louder, and then you come to the top of the hill and you see the waterfall. Crystal clear, cascading down from a height of, 10 or 20 feet, over a little pool from which a stream exits gently. And you just stand and you take in this beauty surrounding you. Take in the fresh air, that sense of clean air that you only get near running water. You begin to walk down the short distance remaining between you and the pool. As you come to the edge of that pool, this is your moment now to know that that love that we've spoken of already so much this morning is who you truly are. That which covers that light over is not real, and you have an opportunity in this moment to release as much of that as you are willing to let this waterfall take. It takes more courage than you might think. But this is your moment to gather that courage. And by the way, you don't need to know what it is you're releasing. This is about surrender. In the highest sense, surrender for the purpose of your own liberation. Your guardian angel is there with you, helping you to summon this courage, helping you be willing to offer into this waterfall everything that is weighing you down. It doesn't matter if you've been carrying it for decades or just a week. It can all be released now. So with that conviction firmly in your heart, you can begin now to walk towards this waterfall. It cascades from a ledge just above your head. With just enough of a flow to be gentle yet powerful. As you stand in the spray, on the count of 3, you're going to prepare to step under this waterfall and let it wash all of those things away. 1, 2, 3. Feel the energetic tone of the waterfall turn now from a cleansing to a filling up. All the space that was just freed up when you released is now being filled with golden light. This golden light is so strong that it will stay there in your energy field as long as you are willing to let it. Remember, you always have the power. As you walk out of the waterfall, to the edge of the pool and back down the path. Know that you are this light. You are this love. And nothing and no one can ever take that from you without your consent. Namaste.
Thank you, Natalie. Well, we've been talking about love all morning. As we look at this world we're in, oh, you turn on the television, it's... And as you look at communities of people and whole countries full of people, you think, my God, where is the hope? I'm going to talk about that thing, hope, today. It comes from the human spirit. I remember reading in, who was the little Jewish girl in the attic? Anne Frank. Reading her book, thank you. After she talked about there's good in everybody, she wrote about her. She knew the war, the thunder of the war and the violence was going to destroy everything and her. But she said, out of the deep goodness of humanity, out of the human spirit, things will become at peace again. And you should think back through all the times. I was having a conversation at breakfast a week ago about the Holocaust. Through all of them, I don't even know what to call it, that those survivors went through, millions of people went through. They survived. They could have just given up, but they didn't. Millions were killed. And millions more you would have thunk would have died, have thought. But they didn't. That tenacity of the divine held their lights, their candles alive. When I look at war, and there seems to be war going on somewhere all the time. But when I look at about that same amount of time, Europe was just bombed to hell. It was blown, there was not a city that didn't have major damage. And the big towns, Berlin and bigger towns in Germany and London, and it just, they were shattered, destroyed. And though the fighting stopped on a particular day, the day the Japanese surrendered, the day the Germans and the Italians surrendered, that stopped. That didn't stop the curse, the pain, the anguish. Those people in those towns had no food, had no money, had no place to live, no facility, no power of any kind, no more water. But the human spirit, the power, the resilience of human spirit, they rebuilt. And doesn't it seem like if we look at these countries, you could just sum it up into a quick story about it. When all the uglies that create the war, the boogeymen, the bad guys, the greedy people that use violence and force to get more money and more power, one day they wake up and in all that they have created by this blunder, money is worthless pretty much. And the power they have is over a bunch of people that are probably going to starve to death next week anyway. There's no sense having power over people like that. You aren't overpowering them. They're in survival mode. They're in their own spirit mode. Your power means nothing. There's nothing of value to lord over them. So those people just go back, they take their maggot little selves back into the earth where they belong. And in that human spirit, in that love that they have for their fellow man, in that kindness they show to their entire community of people in the same boat, they rebuild. They rebuild an environment of caring. They build an environment of abundance. I have a friend that was born in England. He's 8 years younger than I. And we have spoken sometimes. And when he was a little boy, well, everything in London was kind of new, bright and chipper. And yeah, because it was nothing but blown up buildings and blown up streets and blown up water and gas pipes in 1945. And this thing about the human spirit, this kind of love that we need as societies to survive. It's not a new thing. It's been going on ever since there were humans, actually ever since there were animals. Animals have this we consciousness. They get their herds and their flocks together. And sure, there's a pecking order, and sure, there's their uniqueness as a species, as individuals, but they have a we consciousness. They pretty much make decisions based on the good of the whole. Your indigenous societies were very connected with nature and with each other and with the unseen. Next week we're having a guest speaker, Erin. She is the director of development for COTS. We hear all about all the crap all the time. But oh, there are groups of people showing the love. And I'm going to try to have more of those people come and talk to you and tell you about what they're doing. Just to give you a little more hope, give you an opportunity to think about your blues and depression and lack of hope. Maybe go help them down at Mary's table. They got a new place where you go, shelter, on Redwood Avenue, right here in Roanoke Park. Maybe you can go over there and help clean an apartment, or maybe help do something, set up chairs, or do something. Maybe they need some stuff painted, or maybe they need some clothing donations sorted through. Maybe take them and wash them and dry them so they're clean. I don't know. But what I do know is when you're busy serving your fellow man, or your fellow animals, or your fellow cats, Kelly, you're too busy loving to worry about yourself. You're too busy loving and caring to not have hope. And who knows what our future brings? We're just a moment in time, and there have been moments in times ever since we started keeping times that things have looked pretty hopeless, but we're still here. And when you look at since recorded times, when they started keeping track, when the stories started being passed forward, we think things are so bad. We got heat. We just push a button and we got heat. Water comes out of the walls. We can go to the bathroom indoors where it's warm and nice. We have toilet paper and air conditioning. We have vehicles. We have insurance. We have retirement funds. We have wonderful relationships that kind of are our rudder as we go through this bumpy old road or squirrely little creek called life. In these times when so much injustice and violence and nasty is sold to us every day by our media, they're part of the chaos. But walk in down at Cots, go sit in the parking lot, watch those people talking to each other. And they're pretty happy. And they don't have a pot to pee in or a window to throw it out of. But they have each other. And therein lies their hope. Therein lies their sustenance to do it again tomorrow. And I encourage each one of us, just take a step back. Shut the phone off. Put it in the drawer for a couple hours. Give yourself a break. And think about how together we have things that happen, like Ron and Bill and me and countless others that just feel that love. And we know that tomorrow when we need it, it'll be there. And that's hope, the kind of hope that makes you feel the value of caring and loving. Are you going to feel great when you all go out and get that new car? Yeah, till you get the first payment, insurance payment, till it breaks. That's not real happy. That's a fun thing you can do. There's a certain amount of security by having something that you don't have to worry about breaking down on the road. But the real hope for the future doesn't come from anything you can buy. It comes from the knowing, the awareness that each one of us possesses sustaining human spirit, that each one of us can give and receive love, and that each one of us can show the gratitude for that awareness in an infinite number of ways. So when you look at the New York Times or turn on Channel 7 or Fox or wherever you want to watch TV, things look pretty crummy. Things look pretty hopeless. Well, actually, that's what the warmongers want you to feel. They want to dim that light of human spirit as much as they can, so they can continue to take and take and take and take and run and rule and make people afraid of them. But sometimes, all the time, when that runs its course, they wind up with nothing. Not even their own human spirit, because they have shut down the light and blown out the light of that candle within themselves. It's so sad. But each one of us has felt, has tasted, has seen that light that's within us. We just have to remember it's there. When things look dark, when things look all messed up, when things look hopeless, remember your hope is your divinity. Your hope is the love and kindness you receive from your fellow creatures. There's nothing more valuable in this life experience. Nothing. You come up with it, let me know, because we can sell it and make a lot of money. My dear family, I had a magnificent Valentine's because I got to think about the relationships that give me so much, the relationships that allow me to share all that I can share, the relationships and the kindness and the love that give me hope that, yeah, there is a Santa Claus. And so it is. I want to read something. This is from Nelson Mandela. I always knew that deep down in every human heart, there is mercy and generosity. No one is born hating another person because of the color of their skin or his background or his religion. People must learn to hate. And if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love. For love comes more naturally to the human heart than its opposite. Even in the grimmest of times in prison, when my comrades and I were pushed to our limits, I would see a glimmer of humanity in one of the guards. Perhaps for just a second, but it was enough to reassure me and keep on going. Man's goodness is a flame that can't be hidden, that can be hidden, but never extinguished. Something to ponder, my dear friends. And I said, so it is, so it is. Let's stand up and sing. I think it's What a Wonderful World.
See trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and for you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue, clouds of white, the bright blessed day and the dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're only saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than we'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
All right, let's take a moment and circle up in this family of love.
I think we're ready.